Hey, my cat loving friends. Have you been to the vet with your animals recently? You know how expensive this is just for these tests? We fell upon a company that is really making this much more affordable to diagnose and find out what's going on with our animals. And we are really in shock and thrilled. We have two veterinarians with us today. And as soon as we get back from this, a word from our sponsor, we're going to introduce you and get the scoop. We all need this. Be right back. Welcome back to 19 Cats and Counting. I am your co-host, Linda Hall, here with my lovely BFF, Rita Reimers. Rita, are you excited?
I love that we're going to get the scoop. Ha.
The scoop.
The scoop. Get it? You didn't even know you made the
Honey,
show.
I get the scoop so often that yes, exactly.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it with 16 boxes, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
Tell me about our wonderful guests, Dr. Joe and Dr.
Yes,
Rory.
Dr. Joe and Dr. Joe, I got to say the name just to prove I can do it. Menicucci.
You got it.
Is that
right? And Dr. Rory, much easier name, Lubold, are with us today from Affordable Pet Labs.
We love the word affordable.
We love the word affordable.
Especially when we have multi-cats like we do.
Yes. So welcome, gentlemen. You have co-founded Affordable Pet Labs together, right? Tell us why and what's up, because we could not believe it when we read it.
Great. Well, thanks for having us today. We really appreciate it. Joe and I, we founded Affordable Pet Labs a few years ago, really because we saw that there was a big gap in sort of the ability for most people to afford the wellness testing and the routine testing that's necessary to keep our pets healthy. And as those costs kind of have gone up over the years, the ability to perform the test has gone down, and that information is really valuable for us as veterinarians to be able to make appropriate sort of decisions and make recommendations for how we actually keep our pets healthy is knowing where they are. And so we started Affordable Pet Labs with the idea to be able to make it affordable, but also to make it more convenient. And I think that's a really important component of it, because especially for cats, they don't like going into the vet. And if we're able to make that, I mean, that's a stressful thing for parents and for cats.
Yes.
And so I think it's so important for us to be able to say, how can we make this easier for them? And our solution really was, let's come to the home. We bring teams of technicians to the home, and we figured out a way to make it easier.
This is crazy.
I love that, because getting cats to the vet is near impossible sometimes.
Well, and Rita recently, within the last few months, was like, I got to get cats in for senior panels. And so she's going through now, mind you, she's got 16 cats. I think there were 5 or 6 of them that were in that senior range. There's no way she can bring A, the expense. Yeah, scary. B, she can't get 7 cats and 7 carriers and carry 7 carriers into the vet's office. So
I can take 2 at a time. And
I'm taking these 2, and then I'm going to take these 2, and then I'm going to take these 2. Oh my gosh, if you could just come. And some of these we can do ourselves at home too, right?
Yeah, and that's the neat thing about it, is that we do have a couple tests that you're able to do at home. It's fecal tests, which is very easy. All you have to do is pick up that poop or scoop it, and then put it into a little baggie with our information, send it off to our lab, and we run it for you. And then there's urinalysis, and we also provide with those that plastic litter, so you don't have to go find that at the lab or at the store. So we do provide that as well, and it's easy.
Love that. I love that.
And the cost, there was a package I saw for less than like $200 that had, I don't remember how many tests involved in it, but a lot. You could get all that done for $200. I was over the moon.
That's amazing.
Well, and that includes our technicians actually coming into the home. So that is, there's no additional fee for that. All is included.
So are you all over in every state? Do you have somebody who does this?
We're getting there. Currently, we're in 6 states and 13 cities. So we started in Phoenix, and we've kind of grown out from there. But currently, yeah, we've got 13 cities now, and we're looking to add another 20 cities by the end of the year or early part of next year.
Oh, that's
Right.
amazing. Well, and for those of us who are not, so I live in small town Ohio. Rita
I
lives
live
in small town South
South
Carolina.
Carolina.
So I automatically assumed you didn't have technicians in our area, but there are a number of things, like you said, the fecal test and the urinalysis.
You can
That
do
right there
yourself.
is amazing.
Mhm.
You know, we know how dangerous UTIs are. As we told you earlier, Rita started a cats only pet sitting company, and I came on board as her executive director. We had cats that would be visited, and they would come back less than 24 hours later, and the cat is behind the toilet,
Yeah.
just so close to death, so close to death. And it was a UTI because cats hide signs of illness.
They do.
This is another broken record thing we behaviorists tell everyone. So, you know, to be able to do a routine test very inexpensively and keep an eye on this is huge.
Oh, I saw your dog.
I was just
behind
going to say there's a really cute tiny dog
Cute
behind
doggy.
Dr. Rory. But
you. We have pet ADD.
we do. A cat or a dog
He's
walk
not the
past
end of
the
my
screen. Yes.
My Bella's right here.
I love it. Yes.
Oh,
Yes. We see an animal across the screen and we lose our attention completely. But yeah, exactly. So, how many tests right now are you capable of doing with this service?
for in-home, we have about, I'd say 28 in-home tests. But one thing that we have this happen quite a bit is if there's a specific test that someone needs, reach out to us, because we don't publish every test on the website. So
Sure.
we're able to do a lot of different tests with our partner who does the lab work. So
Nice.
for in-home collection tests, we do have multiple different options as well. We have the basic fecal, total fecal, which includes Giardia. And then we do have the urinalysis. And then we also have a total urinalysis, which does have a little bit more included with that. And really many of our tests for those veterinary technicians or those who have experience collecting blood on their own, that have done it for a veterinary clinic and they have the experience, we can send out those test collection kits to them as well. So it's one of the things that we're able to do if you have experience as well.
How do
That's
people
amazing.
know which tests to choose? I mean, they might not really know what's going on, or which test would pinpoint the issue. Is there a guide to tell them based on these type of symptoms, this is the test for you?
Well, we do have a chat option on the website, so we're
Uh-huh.
able to actually answer those questions.
Yeah.
But I will say that a lot of it comes, and this is where we work directly with veterinarians. So a lot of veterinarians who refer our service usually tell them, hey, we need a general health profile, or we need, and that use this company type of thing. So we have a lot of connections with veterinarians in the areas that we're in. But also, if you're just looking for general information, a general health profile, it doesn't hurt to run. Or, you know, these, especially urinalysis kits,
Yeah.
these will give you a good idea of what's going on with your pet. So starting there is not a bad thing.
I'd
I'm
love to-
thinking you should order the urinalysis and the fecal test and just keep it until you see a problem, because I don't know
Oh,
about
that's a
everybody
great
else,
idea.
but my cats only show signs of illness on Friday nights
I
when
know
the
mine
vet is
too,
closed
right?
for the weekend.
How it works.
It's plotted out, right? This is like it's a scientific fact,
Another
right,
cute
gentlemen?
doggy. I know. Then I'll go to the vet. My vet's like, when did this start? Friday night. Again? Always Friday night? Yes.
Always Friday night. Always. I've had so many problems on a Friday night. And people often say, you know, they see changes, and, you know, or how do I know if my cat's sick if they hide it? Well, any change. Your normally friendly cat is now isolating. Your normally isolating cat is hanging out. We have more vocalizations than usual. We have, you know, there's a list of odd behaviors. Anything that is not normal is an issue and needs to be checked out. But we often get, we get a lot of our two most seen problems with behavior is cats fighting and
Appropriate
the integration
urination.
issue and appropriate urination defecation. And whenever a cat is peeing outside the box, our first question is, has the cat been to the vet? UTIs are painful. If I step in the box, it hurts every time. I'm going to decide that the box is evil and causes me
Well,
pain.
and pooping
and
outside
stay-
the box too. That could be, you know, issues with the stomach, food allergy. It could
Yes.
be anything.
Yeah, and cats, they're not going to show you, and their instinct is to poop not where the community is pooping, to hide. We know this. So yeah, we need to get these checked out. And then we had one client who said, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take her in and get checked for a UTI. And then the day of the appointment, she couldn't catch the cat and get the cat in a crate. She had to reschedule it.
I've been in that predicament myself. I mean, I would have loved to have known about you when I was doing all those senior panels.
Yeah. Where are you? Why didn't you connect with us sooner? What are you doing?
I know you take care of tests for cats and dogs.
Yes.
Are there any other animals that you do testing for?
We do have the option to do some horse and large animal fecals and urinalysis. We have not expanded into the blood work yet, but that is on the roadmap.
Nice.
And but that's kind of where my background is. I'm a large animal veterinarian, so I was kind of excited to do that here sooner than later. But we definitely wanted to start with the dogs and cats, where it's a little
The
bit
most
easier.
popular, well, and the most popular, right? You're going to hit the most people and help the most people, right?
For
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Get the ones that, you know, if you've ever taken your cat in for a fecal exam, okay, catch the cat, put the cat in the carrier. The cat doesn't know why it's in the carrier. Cat's mad. Cat's yowling all the way to the vet's office. Get the cat in there. Try to hold the cat down while they shove something up the cat's bum
Well,
to
even just
grab
to
a
get
piece of
temperature.
poo.
Even just to
Exactly.
get the temperature, they do that.
So you're telling me I can just grab some crap out of the box and send it to you instead? I love you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, it seems a lot easier, right?
I'm gonna put you guys on speed dial.
No doubt. We're a little obsessed with you right now. We're your biggest fans.
I know. What was the inspiration behind this, you guys? What made you decide to branch out and make these tests so awesomely available?
I think for us, and I mean, Joe's a large animal vet. He spends his days keeping dairy cows healthy. I'm an emergency vet. I spend most of my weekends and holidays working in ERs, and so from a perspective standpoint, we looked at it and said, there are so many things that just a little bit of preventative, for those cats that have frequent UTIs or frequent urinary obstructions, if we could get some kind of monitoring for urine, every 3 to 6 months if they're frequent offenders, or some frequency that their veterinarian recommends. How do we make that easy? And what we found was that, we can have a lot of impact by helping to make the preventative stuff easier.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really where that came from was I don't want to see them in the ER. Like I don't want a busy night. Like that's a bad thing for us. And if we can prevent it with even just, for a few of these pets, let's do it. And so the cats that can't urinate, those are a big problem. The common diarrhea, cats and dogs, and those are all really important things that we're able to have an impact with a simple mailer kit or annual blood tests. And those are a lot easier at home because now you're not putting them in the car and dragging them to the vet. And we're so proud of the partnerships that we have with veterinarians because that's where we started. We want these recommendations to come from their vets, and we want the results to all go back to their vets because that's such an important part of the process. But if it takes you 3 or 4 weeks to get in to see your vet, because that's where we are now, at least you can show up with the lab work. And now you have a really meaningful conversation because you have the data, you have the vet, and now you can put the two together without having to wait 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, exactly. Yeah. Now we're going to wait for the test. Now we're going to wait for the office to call us and let us know what the results of the test were.
Oh, I know my vet's office is really bad about giving the results too. Days and days and days.
Yeah, they're so
busy.
That's it. She has one of the best vets. I'm in love with her
Oh,
vet.
I do,
But
awesome.
yeah, but again, yeah, it's time and busyness and what we're all doing. And of course, the craziness of COVID slowed all that down. And I, for one, am still scared of COVID. COVID hit my family very, very hard. We lost someone dear to us. So I don't like going out in public. So I like you. Thank you.
Well, and I had a home vet for a while and I loved her, but anytime any type of diagnosis was needed, blood work or what have you, I had to go to the office vet anyway. So
Yeah.
I just stopped. I don't have her come anymore because it wasn't a
Yeah.
total solution.
Yeah.
And the closest ER vet to my community is over an hour away. If your cat is suffering and looking like it's going to die, you don't have an hour, And we talk, many clients we've had that did you go to the vet to check for a UTI? Well, no, but he's had a UTI in the past and he had crystals, but he seems to be fine now. Well, if he had crystals,
now we can send them.
yes, let's check and make sure that's not rearing its ugly head, because you're going to waste your money with a behaviorist who's walking you through all these things. That cat's not getting in the litter box until that UTI or whatever is corrected, right?
True.
So I'm hitting a lot
Well,
of
I think that's such an important. Yeah, it's such an important thing. I mean, we speaking about cats specifically, cat urinary problems, either the females that have the UTIs or the males that have the obstructions. To be clear, we're not an emergency solution, right? Like the
Correct.
time it takes the male to mail a kit back and then get the results, it takes a day or two or more, depending on mailing time. So it's not an emergency solution, but it's great for monitoring. It's great for the first sign, like, hey, they're just starting to frequent the litter box more. Let's send them more. Those are the right times to be doing it, because now when you go to your vet and say, hey, they're frequenting the litter box and we're seeing crystals and we're seeing, bacteria, now that becomes really meaningful.
Yeah. Like I said, ordering one ahead and keeping it. If I had a cat that had a history of crystals, I would probably, I don't know, every other month or so, just give a test just to see how we're doing, make sure I can catch it before it gets scary, because we've seen very scary.
I'm thinking about my Smokey. He had been diagnosed with early stage kidney issues. Now, I don't know where we stand right now. And quite frankly, I don't have the money to run him over to the vet every other week to say, hey, what's going on? So
How's he
this
doing?
would be great for me.
Exactly. Missy's 17.
It's a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
If we think about those, obviously with cats, our minds go immediately to obstructions in males and UTIs in females. Like those are the two big places. But if we start to think about it even deeper, one of the big things that's going to cause a problem for most cats and as they age is kidney disease. It's a statistical likelihood. And one of the things that we can do is frequent blood work to check for values that are changing and try and get some trends. But the urine actually, from an easy standpoint, the urine actually contains a lot of really important parameters to tell us about kidney function. And if they're going in that direction, maybe we can see a trend on the urine. So there's a lot that we can work with your veterinarian to say, hey, let's put together a monitoring program.
This is amazing. I know we have to take
Yeah,
a
let's
break.
take a
I'm
quick
ready with
break.
my next questions, right? Yeah, I'm done. So go ahead. All right.
We'll take a quick break. After this word from our awesome sponsor, we'll be right back. And we're back with 19 Cats and Counting. We're talking to two awesome veterinarians who started. What's the name of the company?
Affordable Pet Labs. Did you get it? Yes. Senior moment, right?
Senior moment.
Affordable Pet Labs. Exactly. So I'm harping on the UTIs a lot because this is just what we see the most and what I'm most knowledgeable in. We are not veterinarians.
No.
What else should we be monitoring to catch in that same vein?
And not just cats. We've got a lot of people who own cats and dogs.
Yes, I have a small dog. Yes.
I think for some it's going to be regional. So there's certainly we're based out of Phoenix. Our headquarters in Phoenix is our big city, and so there's certain areas that have certain diseases that are regional diseases. So Phoenix, we have something called valley fever, the fungal disease that we see crop up in in the southwestern United States. So for certain areas like that, it's actually really meaningful to be checking that on a yearly or semi-yearly basis. Not really common in cats, but fairly common in dogs, and so it's worth checking. So regionally, there are some things that can be really important for in most animals that are older than 5 or 6. Basic kidney and liver stuff is always nice to check on an annual basis. Thyroid, especially in older cats and dogs, we see cats that get their thyroid to go way up and dogs get their thyroid to go way down. That can actually have a pretty meaningful impact on their quality of life and how they feel and their appetite and their weight loss or weight gain. And so one of the things that we usually recommend from the veterinary space is hey, as they start to get older, year, once every 18 months. But that's easy enough to do. If you find something, it gives your veterinarian an opportunity to treat it. If it comes back normal, wonderful. But at least, you'll be able to catch it a little bit earlier.
Oh, yeah.
So those
I
tend
would
to be the things that we
rather,
check.
yeah, I would rather not sit and worry. What are some
For
common
sure.
things that we can have that a fecal exam would fix or diagnose?
Typically, those are going to be the fecal exam. We're primarily looking for parasites. So we're looking for worms, or we're looking for Giardia, which is another parasite that can cause diarrhea. But those things can also steal nutrients. And so if they do eat food, they might be eating a great food and getting lots of it, but they're losing nutrients to the parasites. And so in certain parts of the country, that's actually really common. And so in certain parts of the country, we check that on an annual basis.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you've got your test, you've got your diagnosis. Now, what do we do with those results? Do you go to our veterinarians, or do your people provide the medications?
A great question. So one of the things that we're really important that we kind of differentiate is though we have veterinarians on our team, we're not a veterinary service. We're here to provide the diagnostics at an affordable and convenient way and price, right? Those are our two sort of pillars. The key for this is that the reason for that, I mean, we could put together a telemedicine team and do that, but really the important thing is we want to reinforce the relationship with your veterinarian. That's our sole purpose, because we know that that's so important for them to be able to get their hands on your pet, get to know you, get to know what your goals are, how they're doing at home. There's so many little things that we can't do remotely. Right. And so the key thing for us is when we get the results, we send them back to you. That's important. We also send them to your veterinarian, and then we send them to your veterinarian with the recommendation of, hey, this pet has had this lab test. Go ahead and contact them. And we encourage pet parents to contact their veterinarian as well, to open a dialogue, set up an appointment, see what needs to be done, if anything, or just see if everything looks good. Because we don't want to get in the middle of that relationship. We really, really want to encourage the dialogue so that you can have a discussion about what's next.
Yeah. Well, you're limited from a distance. That's understandable. Sure. There's lots of vets that you can call on the phone, and there's lots of answers and things that can be beneficial for. But there's no substitute for seeing the animal and putting things in practice and knowing the whole schlemiel. And although you do end up, if the test came back bad, I'd still have to take my animal to the vet. I still saved one trip. And like I said, that fecal exam, going through all that, bringing them, having something shoved up their rear. And then, when I need to take the cat back after we get the results, he's going to be less likely to get into the carrier, because cats have very great long-term memories for things that upset them. And something up the keister will do that to you.
Well, dogs too. My parents have 5 dogs, and sometimes just getting them in the car, they know what's coming. They don't want to get in the car.
Yes. Yeah. I know.
Besides
where you're taking
5 dogs to the vet, my parents, they're older. My dad's 83. And, getting them to the vet, they try to take at least 2 at a time. But as they're getting older, that's really not possible anymore.
And what if they've all got it? And exactly. And there are tests that I've done. One of my cats gets seasonal allergies and sneezes his head off and looks really adorable. He's got a bit of a smooshed in nose. I think he's got some Persian or somewhere in there, and we know that causes breathing difficulties. I had to take him to the vet, which he did not appreciate. We went through a lot of testing just to find out it was seasonal allergies. Don't worry about it unless the stuff looks green. If I could have done that in the mail,
and avoided the trip altogether, right? And that's really, I mean, you take your cat to the vet and you hope nothing's wrong, but then you're like, so I bundled him up and I put him through all that for nothing, all that trauma for nothing, right? I'd rather do an at-home test to at least know if I really need to take that vet trip.
Exactly. Yes. Well, and I've often said, we joked, we tried Pretty Litter, and we love Pretty Litter. We think that is a really cool invention. However, with 12 and 16 cats, if the litter turns blue,
take a guess, take a shot in the dark.
Who do we blame that on? Exactly. And I literally said a few weeks ago, I guess I take 12 cats to the vet. Somebody's got a urinary problem. We need to clear this up. This is a much better answer. I like your answer.
Because you can sometimes guess and, maybe get it down to 1 or 2. It might be you two because you're acting a little weird, but you really don't know who. Or it could be both. You don't know.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. We just never know. And especially with the aging cats. And well, someone reached out to us. We get a lot of that with a cat that they were going to euthanize because
Mimi.
the cat was diabetic and they really didn't have time for it. And they had a lot of children and another one on the way.
This poor cat hadn't been to the vet in over a year.
So Rita took the cat in, and the cat had not been on the correct dose of insulin for we don't know how
Long
long.
time.
It was on 0.5 and the vet wanted to get her up to 1.5, if that tells you anything.
We never
She
made it
only
because she
lived with Rita
passed
2 weeks because the damage was just too great. And that, the liver, the kidneys, they all suffer with diabetes. This is something that should be tested on the regular, right? To make sure that this illness isn't causing damage to organs. And these are things I'm assuming that you have tests that would have told us.
Yeah, those are such tough diseases because they're hard to manage, and then there's a lot that goes into it. Obviously you're managing a frequently full litter box now because they're peeing more than they should, and insulin and glucose checks and everything else, and those are difficult things to manage for anybody, and certainly if you've got a busy home life, it makes it even more difficult.
Yeah.
We don't. One of the things for us, because we don't like the whole surprise fees of sending technicians into the home and, oh, by the way, it's another $100, or here's a test, but then here's another $100 for that. We really kind of try and do everything as packages so that make it really, really affordable, because that's how we can do that. We have great rates with our lab partners, and then we provide the technicians. So we don't do like a blood glucose, is what that's
Right.
say. But we do use something called a fructosamine, which is a long-acting. It's a test that tells us basically over the last 3 weeks what the average glucose has been over the last couple of weeks. And so that can be really meaningful for some of these diabetics that we're just trying to manage a little bit better. Those things can
Yes.
really help your veterinarian to make better choices about is 1.5 right, or do you go to 2, or do you change insulin types, or so there's a lot, and we include that in some of our senior cat or diabetic cat tests that make it a little bit more comprehensive of a test.
That's amazing. I didn't even know that was there. Yes, because we know with glucose, my son-in-law was diabetic, and I know sometimes it was way up, sometimes it was way down. You cannot base your decisions diagnostically based on one glucose test, right?
Well, and unfortunately, that's what happens though. The cats get put on a certain dose of medication and it stays there for quite a long time, months, maybe a year before there's a retest.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
having the ability.
And that's usually because it's hard to take them into the vet, right, and do a day-long glucose curve, and then as you can imagine, that cats get stressed out in the veterinarian.
Yes.
Now the stress has changed their glucose levels as well, because that can have a pretty meaningful impact. And so we may actually get an inaccurate test by going into the vet because of the stress is going in. So the amount of stress that we can save by being at home can be really impactful for cats.
And we know stress can cause illnesses. Stress,
Sure.
we've seen over grooming, we've seen illnesses, we've seen all kinds of crazy things come from stress. So the less we can stress that's kind of as behaviorists, our goal in life is to take everything cats get outside, give it to them inside, make sure they're living as naturally and as happy as possible, and with the least amount of stress, right? So this is saving so much.
Where can
What-
people, oh, go ahead. I was just
Go
gonna say, where
ahead.
can people find you and learn more about the testing that you offer? What's your website?
Well, it's pretty simple. It's www.affordablepetLabs.com. And
Easy.
yeah, it's pretty easy. We're out there. And like I said, if you have a question, down at the lower right-hand corner that says chat, we're here. We answer questions.
I
And
love that.
we're also, like Rory said, we make sure that each lab result that a pet parent orders, the pet parent gets the results, as well as if they share their veterinarian's information, we send that off to them as well.
I love that.
That's amazing for 2 reasons, because often things can get lost in the shuffle at vets' offices. I'm not coming down on the vets. All you vets, I love you. I love
Yeah,
you.
we know you're
but-
busy. Yep.
But we know things get lost in the shuffle in
They
our
do.
inboxes, and we so-and-so wrote us and we didn't write them back. Things happen, and the vet may not get to see them. And so if you're waiting for the vet to contact you, it might not happen. And so knowing it myself and knowing that I need to get a jump on this, or if it does happen, it might be a few days because again, they're busy. But then they've also got them so they can review them ahead of time and we can save a lot of time in the vet's office. So do you have on your site then a guide to, these things should be done how often? If you've got a senior cat, these things should be done, that kind of thing.
Well, I think that's a great point. So we do have a couple ebooks out on the website under our library. One of them is the top 10 tests that pet parents can use to kind of guide them on what diagnostic tests that their pet might need. Kind of explains that. But it also, we do have a fecal a guide or ebook on there as well that kind of gives them an idea of what's normal, what's abnormal, because sometimes if you see loose stool, it's usually a sign of something going on, and not a lot of people know about, hey, this is not normal. So and I do know that in the future we're planning on writing an ebook on urine as well, so that's something that we're going to be coming out with shortly.
That's amazing.
We love that. And when it comes to the poop, even the color means something.
Yeah, we did something on social media about brown, black, what should you look for? Shape, color. Yeah, I think we entitled it Be a Poop Inspector or something.
Yeah,
poop
something
detective,
like that.
something like that.
Poop detective.
You're talking about crap, you got to try to be cute. So,
that's something everyone wants to do, is dig into their pet's poop, but a necessary thing if you're going to be a responsible pet owner and make sure your pets are healthy.
Exactly. Yes. I'm watching very closely when I scoop. And the joy, even with 12 cats, is that they love a clean litter box. They line up to use it after I'm done. So all I got to do is plop squat on a chair and wait for them to poop, and I can see whose is what. But I can get it pretty easily. Yes. In the fresh of it all. You are going to save us time, stress on our cats, and so much money. I am just so excited. When did you start this?
So early, well, it was around September 1st of 2019. So right before COVID. And it was kind of a situation where we started and then it was things happened, which we all know. And then clinics were referring to us because they couldn't get enough people in, as well as and you already said it, was really nice is the mobile veterinarians started using us a lot, because what we do working with them is we go in, get the blood work, get the results done, and then we send it to them before they do the physical exam, so they have a good idea of what's going on with your pet before anything really happens, and they could get ready for and actually help instead of waiting for those results. So
get a plan together. Rita and I offer a free 15-minute pre-consult, and we ask a lot of questions on the phone, name and age of the cat, gender, is it neutered, spayed, blah, blah, blah. What is the problem and what have you tried? And so we start taking notes, Fluffy is a 6-year-old male peeing outside of the box. What changes have happened, blah, blah, blah. We try to get everything together so that we can put our recipe together before the real session. So this is the same kind of thing, right? Fact finding, getting it together, and they can come to your door with a plan as opposed to, so what's going on with the cat?
Yeah, imagine never having to take your cat to the vet again, because you get the mobile tests, then you have your mobile vet who's got the results come in and do the treatment. That would be just, the cats I think they're singing hallelujah right now.
They are. Thank you, Dr. Rory.
And
Dr.
the dogs
Joe.
too. I'm sure that your dog
too.
Sadie does not like going to the vet either.
Sadie is a Chihuahua, so she's a nervous wreck, and she's an old Chihuahua, so she's become even more of a nervous wreck. And it's not good. She used to love car rides, and when my son got his new car about a year ago, she took Sadie for a ride, and she pooped on the seat because she was so scared. So nobody wants to take Sadie anywhere anymore. Nope.
Keep us in the car.
He was furious. He'd just gotten it. It was his baby. He was like dusting for lint, and the dog just took a giant dump on his seat.
Hopefully it was leather.
I honestly don't remember if his seats are, I'm in it so rarely. Yeah, he's 17. He's got his own things, but yes, exactly. But how much easier would that be? Well, and Sadie has developed the tendency to nip. So I'm a little afraid of
Mm.
strangers around her. I don't want her. I know all you vets are very understanding and sweet about that, but we try to save your skin as much as possible. So this would really help. Nobody wants to get nipped by
We
Sadie if
appreciate
it's
that.
not necessary.
It would have helped when I had that vet that was actually scared of cats.
Yeah.
I had a vet that was scared of cats, and my sweetest cat would never have bitten him. It was Sweet Pea when I had her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I changed vets.
Well, one of my daughter's cats, she's had him since she was 19 and she's 34
Tiger.
now. So yeah, he's, we think
You
about
could-
16,
You
17
could
now.
probably use a senior panel.
He's
Linda.
nasty. And it took 3 vet techs. He kept slapping the needles out of their hands. And he was just being horrible. Finally, one lady came in. You could tell she was seasoned. She came in, just went right to him, stabbed him, took it out. It was just so fast. Nobody knew what was happening, and Tiger didn't have a chance to eat her face. But
That's how you have to be with those kind of cats.
he will let my daughter do anything to him. But nope, had 3 vet techs pee in their pants because he was.
They should have just handed her the needle, let her do it.
I know, Nikki. Could you just do a little thing here? Because yeah, you had to catch him fast. So I'm thinking this is a test that Nikki could do that would save a few vet techs some, PTSD meds.
Sure.
It's because Tiger will do that. When she was moving, we were moving her the other place. We were all at the new place putting away, and there was 3 grown men at her house, and they called her and said, "We cannot take your bed down because the cat won't let us." So he's a scary little feller.
Yeah, and cat bites are nothing to fool with. The last thing you want is your veterinarian to end up in the ER because your cat bit him.
Exactly.
Very good point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So are the tests that we do on the kittens, the SNAP, the combo test, are these all things we can get from you as well?
They are, but as usually combined with another package. And so we usually will do those. It's just simply not cost effective for one little test. And so usually
Right.
what we'll do is we'll say, yes, we do those, but we do them with, basic blood health package that gives you a CBC and a chemistry to tell you about organ function, and then also the viral stuff, which is not a bad idea anyway, because if they don't have
No.
something viral, doesn't mean that everything else is functioning appropriately. And so it's nice to have that background information.
Yes. We took in a stray from the backyard, number 12, and
You have 13,
we-
14, and 15 lurking.
she
too.
was, yeah, I
Oh my
know. We
God.
didn't catch her sister, and her sister showed up at my back door with 2 kittens, and I just wanted to jump off the ledge for everyone you save, right? But anyway, we called the vet's office. They couldn't get her in for, I think it was about 3 weeks. We had to wait to get the combo test, and then they couldn't get her in for another month for the spay. If we'd have been able to do this and with Affordable Pet Labs, we could have taken the combo test appointment and turned it into a spay appointment and been
Sure.
done with it.
Had it done
Because she was
sooner.
locked in my son's room, driving everyone insane forever. And she was in heat, which is a horrible sound. I'd never experienced that before. That'll rip your guts out.
And it costs more to spay when they're in heat because it's more involved.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. So
At least that's what my vets told me. Maybe that's not true. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
No, it's
I know
definitely a much more involved procedure.
Ah,
That's what I
There's a
thought.
bit more to it. Takes a
yeah.
bit more time, and yeah.
Yes.
So
And I
this
just-
is great, though. I mean, we're
amazing.
definitely gonna, whenever we do a write-up for our clients, at the bottom, I always put links that you
Links.
should visit. We will add you to our
we're going
list.
to-
for
yes, that
sure.
is a very
And
good idea.
I'm going to check out your site to see what tests I can run against my Smoky because I'm getting really worried about them.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we appreciate that.
Oh, we appreciate you, what you're doing for the cats and what you're doing for us. I'm serious. I went on your site to check you out before we sent the invitation to join us. And I was like, and I called Rita immediately, and I'm like, for $199, you get this and this and this and this and this and this. and this.
Yeah, I didn't make it out there because it's just been crazy in our office
It
lately.
has.
But
It
I will.
has.
I have it up right now. I'm going to
Yes.
go and check it out.
Yes. So everybody needs to check out affordablepetLabs.com, see what you can do, what you can save, how you can get some help. Again, if they're not in your city yet, and we're gonna push Dr. Joe and Dr. Rory, spread like wildfire, men, spread this. But
The
even if you
closest they'll
can't
probably
get
get to
home-
me is Charlotte, North
Right,
Carolina.
right, yeah. but there's still many we can do, like that fecal. I'm really excited about that
Yeah.
fecal test. I don't normally
Too.
get excited about collecting poop, but I am really excited about that fecal test.
I know we have to start wrapping up, but Dr. Joe, Dr. Rory, any last words that you want to leave us with?
I'll let Rory go first, and then I'll.
Okay.
No, I think those are the big questions. If anybody has any questions at all, our website is there with the chat. We also have a phone number, which amazingly in 2020 we answer the phone when people call. I know it's a crazy thing.
That's
But
crazy.
if you've got, I know it's so unheard of.
It
But
is.
if you have a question that the chat doesn't answer, or you can't get through chat, call us. We answer it. Usually throughout the day, often far too long into the night too, just because we want to help. But don't hesitate to call us, and we can answer questions there, and help you and your vet any way we can.
Oh, what do you think,
Well,
Dr. Joe?
Well, I just want to say thank you. Really, this is a passion for us, and we really appreciate pets. That's why Rory and I actually went to vet school together. We did this, it was
Wow.
been 18 years ago, and we were like, well, let's just try to do something to change the industry for the better. And really, this has been a fun roller coaster, and I just love hearing from pet parents saying thank you. So, and that's really what we're doing it for, is just trying to make sure that pets are taken care of. And we appreciate you having us on the show to share more about what we're doing, and whatever we could do to help pet parents out, let us know. We're here for you all.
I
That is
love that you guys
amazing.
are long-term friends like Linda
Yes,
and I.
that's so cool.
That's great.
Yes, yes, yes. The
Linda's my
bestie club.
BFF.
The besties club. Yes, exactly.
And
And meanwhile, you're doing all this, and you're both still practicing veterinarians on animals. So
wow.
I'm not sure when you sleep. I'm sure you must not have hobbies or anything else going on. Because
I think the affordable pet labs is their hobby, right? That you
yes, the
turn it
hobby.
into a
That's it,
business,
yes.
and that's where your
To
passion.
be fair,
lies.
we've got a really, really powerful team of techs and other people that we work with. I mean, the Affordable Pet Labs team, I think we're over 50 technicians now. I mean, we have just a giant team of great support people. And honestly, that's one of the biggest reasons we built the company, is because technicians can be a meaningful part of this new way to deliver care. And so we are fortunate that we have that team. And you're right, we don't sleep a whole lot.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was just thinking with how gas went up. I don't care if your cat just walks into the carrier, is easy peasy, and doesn't care about anything done to them. Just the savings on gas. My vet's 25 minutes away, honey. I could probably pay for the test in just what I
Think about the
saved.
poor people in California that they're paying so much more in gas
Yeah.
than we are.
Yeah, exactly. But we are grateful to you, gentlemen, and to everybody on your team.
Absolutely.
Please let them know. Thank you.
I can
Thank
see this
you.
being very beneficial to rescues too, to do some pre-screening without having to
Yes.
drag all these animals to the vet right away.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
actually, yeah, we actually have a rescue deal where they could sign up and they get a discount, and it's special.
Nice.
Yeah, we didn't get to talk about it, but it's something that we're really passionate about. So take a look under our rescue discount program, where rescues can sign up and they could actually get a discounted price on all the tests.
Well, we
That
actually
is
are a
amazing.
501c3. We are building a cat sanctuary.
Yes, we are. And we know a lot of people in rescue. So all of you listening,
We
yeah,
do. We'll definitely
that
be
is a
spreading the
wonderful
word.
thing. Yes, exactly. And when we get our shelter open, Affordable Pet Labs all the way, baby.
You got that right.
Let
Dr.
us know where we can
Joe,
help.
Oh, I
Dr.
love it.
Rory, I appreciate what you do so much. And I'm so happy that you came on the show. And Linda, I'm so happy you found them.
Yep.
My awesome
Actually, I think it was
co-host.
Dr. Joe that reached out to me. So I
Oh,
think he gets the
wow.
credit. But yeah.
Oh, no credit there. It's just trying to get the word out so we can help
Yes.
people.
Well, we're very grateful.
We're happy
'cause,
to help. We're definitely happy to help.
Yes.
And of course, I have to thank Mark Winter, who gave us this spot on Pet Life Radio and is our awesome producer.
Yes.
And don't forget, everyone, what does it always say? Every day is
Every day.
Catterday, not just Saturday. We'll see you next time.